Good morning, everybody. Steve here from The Varied Life. You can see from this picture here and this picture here. That's the YouTube page. So if you give a like and subscribe, that'd be kind of cool. Would appreciate that. And in case you're wondering, retired in Korea? Yes, retired in Korea. What the wife and I did, we ended up selling everything, the house, the car, the truck, the guns, the ammo, everything, including the kitchen junk drawer. All of that stuff went. We took a couple of suitcases. We spent some time in Hawaii, and then we ended up here in Korea, retired. Yeah, kind of a big thing, but that allowed us to retire early, so that's a bonus, and that worked out really well. There's definitely obstacles and different ways of doing things when you retire overseas. And with part of that, there are different opportunities that come. And one of the opportunities, like you see here, is invest in Korean real estate. People have asked me, with the recession going on, what are you seeing in Korea as far as that? And yeah, there's a recession going on. The Korean economy isn't doing well. However, the American dollar is doing well in Korea, so there's a high exchange rate. So right there's a benefit to what we end up seeing. I think the exchange rate is around 1,300 or something like that, which is pretty good. So you're getting more won for the dollar, so you have more buying power. And especially when you start talking about buying things with large price tags, it really goes in your favor. And real estate is one of those things. Excuse me. So anyway, I've got the question of investing in Korean real estate. Would I recommend it? That depends, because nothing is guaranteed except death and taxes. And, even some places where there weren't no taxes for overseas expats and retirees, now those countries are imposing taxes. And so, yeah, it just seems like the only guarantee is death. But with that being said, I would say that investment real estate, it depends. It really depends. Everything can go right. Everything can be, it can be luck of the draw that you amass a huge fortune, you get great deals. Then again, it could just be, the other side of the coin is one thing screws up and it totally devastates you. I did real estate investing in the United States. I started off small when I was in the military. I bought a place, and with a conventional 30-year mortgage, it was kind of a ratty place. We fixed it up. We lived in it for a while, and then we bought another house, and we moved into the second place that needed fixing up, and we rented out the first place. Just kind of the Barney basic, really small-time real estate investing. And then family got involved, and there was a whole, it went south. It was one of those things that went south. I could have been a multimillionaire, but family members decided to defraud the company and defraud me. And it was very, very terrible. So be careful who you go into business with. Even if you have a contract, even if you have business plan, it just goes to show you that, blood is thicker than water. Blood can be more ugly than foreigners. I'll tell you that right now. But with that said, we went rock bottom with that, and we came out the other side. We basically had to rebuild everything and start over, which is kind of depressing. And eventually, when we were able to come here to Korea, one of the draws is, besides the reduced expenses here in Korea, for utilities, gas, food, so on and so forth. Heating gas, I'm talking about automobile gas or vehicle gas. That's still expensive. But thankfully, I can go on to the military base and get my gas there, which is a hell of a lot cheaper. But real estate investing, one of the big purchases that we have is that we sold our primary residence in the United States. Excuse me, and then with the profits of that, because we had been paying off or paying extra towards that mortgage, and we paid off the house. And since we lived in it for longer than 2 years, we were able to not be taxed on that amount of the profit, which was really great, which was awesome. And we had done that a few times over the years. So each time we put a larger down payment on a property and then larger down payment on the next property and pay it down, so on and so forth. So when we came here to Korea, that was one of the things that we researched is some apartments, and we had 2 or 3 different apartments. I pretty much had one settled on, and it ends up that there was a couple things going on, because even though there was the real estate correction, the market was going down, they're having lending problems and so on and so forth here in Korea. So property prices were going down. But that doesn't mean that property prices go down everywhere during a recession. It doesn't mean that. There's still deals to be had. And one of the gambles, I guess, that I did wasn't really a gamble, because we were going to buy an apartment anyway. But my choice of the apartment that we're in now, a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, about 1,500 square feet, whatever it is, that it was from a motivated seller. We bought during the winter months. So in other words, we got here in October, and we put in a contract when we were still waiting for our F1 and F4 visas to come in. And again, the seller was motivated, and so we got a real good deal. We weren't going to get a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. We were going to get a 3-2. And we wanted to save some money and then maybe buy another apartment later on. However, this was such a good deal and such a motivated seller that it was too good to pass up. And part of the reasoning, excuse me, that I wanted to buy the apartment that we're in the Brownstone, close to Camp Humphreys, is that Samsung was building a manufacturing facility. Matter of fact, they're still building it. It's in Geoduck, which is, I don't know, about 15, 20, 30 minutes away, close to Pyeongtaek. And this manufacturing facility is gigantic. It is the largest manufacturing facility I have ever seen. When you drive by this place, there are tons of gigantic cranes, like 10, 20, 30 of these cranes up, the big ones, that cost millions and millions of dollars in and of themselves. So this town, this city sprung up overnight, basically. It is something Samsung, okay, we're going to build this here, and they're going to, computer chips and whatever else they're going to build there is obviously a well thought out thing. So this city just sprung up overnight. New businesses, new apartments. I mean, it is flourishing. Tons of workers, the whole 9 yards, as they're constructing this thing, and will be thousands and thousands of jobs when it is completed. So yeah, it is. They put a lot of thought into this. So even though the recession was going on and real estate was going in a slump, by seeing that, what I ended up looking and saying, okay, well, yeah, they're building new apartments, and they're expensive and blah, 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 as you would kind of see in the United States. But in my mind, it was like, okay, you're going to have people that are going to buy the expensive new apartments, and then you're going to have the people that can't afford that. And so they're going to go away from that city and look for something, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes away, so that they can commute, but they can have the same size apartment, same amenities, but just pay a lot less money. And that should create some demand for the properties in these outlying areas. So that was my thinking. There was two apartment complexes that we were looking at buying, and definitely we settled on the one that I thought was the best. The wife liked it. The wife bought the property, okay. But it is the one that made the most financial sense in that aspect. She bought it. But in regards to my strategy, yeah, this was a good deal. Again, like I said, motivated seller. People are looking for similar sized apartments, just a little further away so they can commute, but not pay a ton more money. And so that creates more demand. It's interesting because matter of fact, let's take a look here. I want to show you. So this is Naver. Naver Real Estate is pretty cool. And you go to Naver, naver.com, and then they have a real estate thing, and you can look at apartments or villas or homes, whatever it is, commercial property, factory land. This is Pyeongtaek Brownstone. And we see a number of properties here, ranging from, 300s to 450 to 390. And these prices have been going up. We've been in our apartment over a year since we purchased it. And it ends up that, like, for example, this one here, you can see the layout, and that's what we end up having is this layout right here. Let me see if it'll come up. Yeah, so that's the layout that we have right there. That's exactly what our place looks like. So we have this 4-bedroom, 2-bath. We got the laundry room here. We got the kitchen area, the living room, master bedroom. Air conditioners go there. The outside units, master bath, another bathroom in the hallway, and these 3 other ones. So it's a really nice place. But with that being said, when we bought our 4-bedroom, 2-bath, we paid a price for it, and it was a good deal. Again, motivated seller, but with what I saw with Samsung building that facility and me knowing a little bit about, and this is 390 million won. So let's put this into perspective. How much is 390 million won? Or 390 million? So 390 million won divided by 1,300, which is just kind of a round number, it's about 300,000. We bought our apartment well under, it was about 265,000, somewhere around there, depending on the exchange rate, because it's gone up and down. When we exchanged money, it was actually closer to 1,500. So again, we maximized having dollars and got more won because the exchange rate was high, and so we exchanged when the exchange rate was high, so we got more money, so we got a better deal. But now the prices, that's 390 million. That's what the price is now for this property, is 390. So we paid maybe $40,000, $50,000 less. So in less than a year, property prices have risen, and this same property that we are in, they're wanting to sell it for 390 or more. There's some other ones that are 3.2 and stuff like that, but you see 390, 320, you see 450. That's obviously more square footage. But generally what we end up seeing is property prices are going up. Now, property prices where we're at have generally stayed up because of the local military base and because of the rental opportunities that are here. So the military base is the largest overseas U.S. military base in the world, Camp Humphreys, Korea. So you have a lot of soldiers, you have a lot of families, you have a lot of contractors that work there, and many of them live in off-post areas. And this is one of the nicer apartments in this area. Again, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we could buy a cheap place that wasn't as new. I think this is like seven years old or 8 years old, something like that, coming up on 8 for this apartment complex. But yeah, it really has a good rental history. There's almost 1,000 units in here, and there's Koreans, there's Americans, service members, there's a lot of officers and so on and so forth, depending on the size and how big of the place is and how the cost of the rent and so on and so forth. So yeah, we ended up picking up this 4-bedroom, 2-bath based on a couple of things because of the Samsung factory, and I knew that there would be people that they're not going to be able to afford the brand new apartments, which can be $100,000, $75,000 or $100,000 or $200,000 more for the exact same size, when you can drive 20 or 30 minutes away and get the exact same apartment size, amenities, and so on and so forth for an extremely low price. So the demand is out there. So that demand drove the supply prices to go up. And we just, it was timing. It was good timing on our part. If we arrived a year later, we wouldn't have experienced, this at all. So again, it depends on the situation, the circumstances. Some of it just happens to be, well, if we retired a year later, we wouldn't have gotten such a good deal. So yeah, it depends. It really depends. Now, the good thing about retiring overseas at least for us in Korea, is that we paid off this property. And we knew it was in a good rental market because of the Samsung manufacturing facility. We knew it was a good rental market because of the local military base, and we would be able to rent it out to officers in case, whatever reason, we had to leave Korea. Let's say, for some strange reason, Korea changed their immigration law and they said, nope, you can't stay in Korea anymore. They just got a bug up their nose and didn't want foreigners. And so we could leave Korea and rent this place out. And because it's paid off, we will experience a profit regardless of the economic, if there's a recession on, whether the economy's good or not, we would be able to experience profit. And yeah, it's a done deal. So when you finance a property, now you're getting into some more details and you're getting into some more gray areas to where, how is your interest rate? How much is that? Is it variable, kind of like the adjustable rate mortgages that we had in the United States, which created a huge crash when those rates adjusted and people couldn't afford to pay those interest rates because they were at such highs? All of that comes into play. Your debt to income ratio, all of that. Do you have financing? Are you purchasing with cash? A lot of different variables. And, there's places where you could buy apartments, but they're not in good rental areas. So if you had to leave Korea and you bought that apartment you're living and it's great, but then if you're financed and it's not in a good rental area, that could be problematic and that could cut into your bottom line. So again, I'm not a high-speed real estate investor. I had a number of properties. I think the most I had at one time was 17 properties, and including our residence. So yeah, I bought a few properties over the years, and I've been on the high side and I've been on the low side. So the best thing I could say is to recommend is, if it's paid off, boom, it's paid off, and the only thing we have to pay is the apartment fee and property tax, which is about $240, $250 a year, a year, maybe $220 a year. So that's, it depends on where you go. There are good deals in Seoul. I think Seoul is highly overrated for real estate and price, especially. If you're on the Han River, you're going to pay an obscene amount of money, and of course, you're not even going to consider that unless you're a multi-millionaire. But we're seeing the market correct in places like Seoul, where places that were here are now dropping down in price and making some of those places better deals than what they were before. Not for somebody like me, obviously. Recently, somebody left a comment and said, it's all about supply. Real estate is about supply. I don't know. It's demand. If you have a low supply, that's going to create a higher demand, and that higher demand is going to result in higher prices. So again, if you don't have the demand, you can have a huge supply, and prices, they can stagnate or they can just go back to the bank. I don't know. It's kind of interesting how that works. So real estate investing overseas or in Korea, it depends on where you want to go. I've run into people and seen videos on YouTube of people who are living in Korea who are looking to, some other foreigners who are married to Koreans, trying to buy an apartment up in Seoul, and the prices are just insane. And, it's like because of that, these people can't afford a nicer place as like what we have here in places that are outside of Seoul. For some reason, everybody wants to be in Seoul, and I just don't get that. I mean, I get it to some degree, but it's to the point of where it's not cost effective, and you're spending way too much money. You can still enjoy Korea, you can still get a lot of great amenities, but just don't do it in Seoul, and you can save a lot of money. So, for example, there was somebody, and I forget the name of the guy, him and his fiance or wife or whatever. They were looking at apartments and they couldn't find anything that they could afford. They had their financing lined up. So apparently he makes money, she works. They qualified for a loan, and they just couldn't the places they wanted to get were out of their price range. So what I ended up doing is sending him the neighbor link here, like we ended up seeing about real estate, and showing about in the Piontek area. Let me see if we can get that. In the Piontek, Pansong area, and then Asan, like down here with. Let me see if I can get this in here. Da-da-da. So like in EG, the one, there's a lot of apartment complexes that come into play that are really affordable. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2 air conditioners, 225 million won. 220, 220, 230, 225, 215, 210. Some of these, most of them are 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Let's see if we can take a look and see what this one is. This is a 3-bedroom. And kind of give you an idea and show you some of the pictures on these. Let's make this a little bit bigger. There we go. So that's looking from the living room into the kitchen. That's looking in the opposite direction. So you have windows. I think this is 15th floor, if I'm not mistaken. Another part, that's a master bedroom. I think that's master bedroom. Yeah, that's a master bedroom, kind of small. Kitchen, that's where your refrigerator would go, has an oven, lots of cabinet space. Kind of the marble type Corian countertops, pretty nice. That's not bad. It has a little TV thing there, gas, stovetop. Yeah, that's a pretty nice little place. And again, that's another one of the bedrooms, a little bit smaller bedroom, but hey. Not bad. That's the master. Got a little vanity place there. Bathrooms, entryway, closet. Your tankless water system, and so on and so forth. And again, that's the walk-in closet for the master. So yeah, and you can see the layout here on this little diagram here, and it'll give the property information, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's on the 10th floor of 24 floors. Monthly management fee is 150,000 won, which if we want 150,000 won, divide that by 1,300, that's about $115 a month, which isn't bad. $115 a month is going to take care of elevator maintenance, going to take care of the outside grounds, going to take care of the underground parking, the lighting, maintenance, landscaping, security guards, management fees for the managers that manage the property 24 hours a day. So yeah. And let's see, what is included in this? Individual heating and city gas is included. So some of these apartments will have electricity included, some of them will have electricity and city gas included in that price of 150,000 won, which could be more. It's not always 150,000 won. Some of them have cable TV and internet that is included or bundled in that as well. So keep that in mind if you're looking around for apartments for yourself. And if you want to buy it as an investment property, that might be beneficial as well, because then the apartment fee, electricity and gas is already included in that fee. Again, it just simplifies the process. So you go down here, give some information. Now, the reason all this is in English is because I'm using Chrome, and it has the little English or translator plugin. So normally this would all be in Korean, but with Chrome, I'm able to put it into the translator plugin, and it comes out in English. So it talks about, e.g. the one in supermarkets within a 3-minute walk. So it's the walkability of this location is really, really good. About 4 kilometers away from the military base, 10 kilometers from Piontek Station. Gives you some more details there. And then further down, it'll have the realtor's information so you can contact them. Again, you want to get a good realtor. I've already had people contact me and ask, well, what realtor did you use? And it's like, well, you got to find your own realtor, because you got to find one that clicks for you. So the realtor that clicked with us, that worked well with us, might not click with you. And so you might be, I don't like this realtor at all. And it's like, well, they were great with us. So that's why we don't recommend realtors anymore. Find your own realtor. Just make sure that the realtor is very highly reviewed, because here in Korea, reviews are huge. And so the people that have high reviews, they work hard to get those reviews. So it's much more important here in Korea than it is in the United States. So reviews are just kind of like, in the United States, no big deal. Korea is huge. So find a good realtor that has high reviews and one that you click with. Life is short. There's no reason to spend time with a realtor or any professional that you don't get along with. And just because we got along with ours doesn't mean you'll get along with them either, or vice versa. You could have a great realtor, and then we don't click. And just find somebody that clicks and has high reviews. Some other information on here is you can find the brokerage fee, which will, like the value-added tax of 900,000 won. So in other words, when you see the price of an apartment, say, for example, this one's 390 million won, you're going to pay this brokerage fee. You're going to pay the acquisition tax. You're going to pay, holding tax for property, education tax, urban tax, so on and so forth. Usually these are one-time fees, except for the property tax. You're going to get that every single year. But you can find out this information, and you can even find out some other complexes that have unsold units, places for sale in the local area in case you don't like that apartment complex. You can find comparable apartments, and it enables you to search and pre-screen properties without wasting the time of the realtor and wasting your time. I mean, why waste your time? That doesn't make sense. So by going through and using this Naver, it works really well because you can go through and you can search out different properties. Let me see if this will propagate. You can go through, let's see if we can find a different one. Yeah, I think this one has all of them. E.g. the one, let's just pull this one up because I haven't seen this. This is a different, and we're looking, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with huge walk-in closet. And this is kind of something that we're looking at right now. We're thinking about getting another apartment. And you go through, so not bad. Definitely more open styles we can see there. Oh, I like that. I like that big counter space there. The colors are good. Most lighting in the newer apartments are LED lighting. Some are fluorescent tubes, but a lot of the newer ones have LED lighting. Bathrooms are pretty much the same everywhere you go. Standing shower, all of that, hallway, closet space, a lot of closet space. I think that's the actual entryway. I'm not sure what we're looking at there. Oh, that's the entryway. So you have one unit here opens and another unit is directly, so then they kind of split off. I don't know if I like that, but it is what it is. And it just kind of goes over the same pictures there. What is the layout, though? Let's take a look at this layout. Because this layout looks really, really interesting. So we have the entryway here, and you come in, and you immediately on your left, you have a bedroom. You have a full bath with tub. You have like a walk-in closet. And then you have the living room area. You have the kitchen. You have another bedroom, a little closet area, I guess. And then you have like a laundry room here. Then you have the master bedroom with a huge walk-in closet and its own shower and things like that. So that's a pretty good layout. That is not bad at all. So yeah, what you can end up doing is you can look at these pictures, you can look at the diagrams, you can look at the prices and everything, so you can narrow down your search, because there's places that we looked at when we got here that the realtor wanted to show us, and it's like, that's not what we want. And so we're able to point out using Naver Real Estate as saying, hey, this is more what we want to look at. Now, granted, I've already heard it, I've seen it, and other expats and retirees have told me that they have gotten with realtors and they said, there's no apartments for sale in Brownstone or whatever apartment complex. when you go on Naver and it's like, no, there's like, almost 100 different units that are for sale. What do you mean there are no properties for sale or no units for sale? The reason they say that is because they're talking about the listings that they have. So in other words, they don't have any listings from that apartment complex. So they say, oh, no, there's no listings. So in other words, what they want to do is they want to steer you towards their own listing so they get the full commission price. Kind of like in the United States, there's a 6% commission. It's split up between the seller's agent and the buyer's agent. In Korea, oh, no, there's no properties there. No. And what they really mean is that we don't have any listings there. So maybe there's a little bit of a misunderstanding because of the translation or lack of translation. But you can easily find and pre-screen different units. And generally, I wouldn't do a first floor unit. I would stay definitely, unless there's an obvious reason of why you want to be on the first floor. But you can have, as people are walking by, they can peer into the windows and whatever, there's the added security, even though most of these places have security. I would definitely get something like the fourth floor or higher. I wouldn't go to the very top. Because then you have the added expense that during the summer you're going to have more air conditioning costs because you're on the top unit. So if you're in the middle somewhere, you're insulated during the winter and the summer, and you don't spend as much for expenses. So Naver Real Estate comes into play, and it works out really great. So again, it's a great tool that you can use in checking out properties, whether you want to buy the property to live in yourself or whether you're looking to do real estate investing. Some people have asked me, well, do you have to be in Korea? Do you have to have an ARC card? Do you have to be on a long-term visa to buy property in Korea? And the answer is no. You can be on a tourist visa and you can buy property in Korea. You have to fill out the paperwork. Our realtor had all the paperwork that we needed. We filled it out. And that included the application of a foreigner to buy property in Korea. It got approved. It's just a formality unless you're wanted on the FBI's 10 most wanted or Interpol or whatever. And especially if you're buying with all cash, it really makes the procedure go a lot easier. But even with financing, it's not that bad. So you're looking about a month, maybe 2 months. From what I've seen, ours was fairly quick because we didn't have to do financing. And so we just had to wait for the approval from the Korean government to give us a registration number that says, yes, you can buy property. Again, everything was done by the realtor. So make sure that your realtor is well versed in the paperwork that is needed to sell property to foreigners. With that being said, you can buy property in Korea without even being in Korea. You don't even have to go to Korea. You could buy sight unseen, and there's realtors and information that I've seen where they're saying, hey, there's people from China buying properties in Korea sight unseen. They just go and see the pictures and, it's in Seoul, and boom, they buy the property. So you don't even have to be in Korea to buy property. Financing, either you buy the property outright with your own cash, or you already have financing on your end, or you apply for financing at a Korean bank. Again, they're going to look at the debt to income ratio, which could be, a little bit better, a little bit worse than your home country. It really depends. So is it a good investment? Other people have brought up that Korea has a low birth rate, and so they're not pumping out babies like they used to. And so how is that going to affect? They're going to have the follow-up generations are not going to be there as we've seen in past generations. Is that going to be a problem for investing in real estate? People still need a place to live. And by the time it comes to the place, if they have such a low birth rate, by the time I'm dead, I'm not even going to see that anyway. And even then, with the property being paid off or the properties being paid off, it's not going to concern me because that's going to go over to, will it over to family or whatever. And that will be their animal to play with. It'll be their issue. And if it's paid off, it doesn't really matter if the market's up or down. They can rent it out. If not, it doesn't matter. I don't really care because I won't be here. So, and investing overseas in real estate can be problematic at times because laws change. Like Thailand is now, they're taxing all foreign income. So now there's a lot of people that are leaving Thailand, and the taxing of foreign income is there's this double taxation treaty. Does Thailand have with the United States? Some countries do, like here in Korea. So you don't get doubly taxed. There's that tax agreement. But above and beyond, so when we get a rental property here, somebody's going to have to get paid. Somebody's going to, taxes are going to be paid, whether it's to Korea and or the United States, but I won't get doubly taxed. But again, other countries can change their immigration policies. They can change their retirement requirements for expats and digital nomads and retirees. So for example, I think it was Malaysia that raised the income requirement to almost $9,000 a month, when before it was like $1,000. So now you got a ton of people that are like, I've been living here and now I can't live here. They've been grandfathered in, but only by the grace of God has that happened. It could be that the government said, nope, you got to leave. And you could have lived in Malaysia for 10, 20 years and have an apartment, car, and now you don't meet the income requirement, even though you're making more than the average Malaysian. Things change. So how is that going to affect your real estate investment in an overseas country? Do you have a plan B? Have you looked at the other options that there are? Can you still rent that property out? There's a lot of different questions, a lot of what if questions that you need to ask, and have plan A, plan B, plan C, and even a backup plan to the backup plan to the backup plan. Investing in real estate in Korea, it depends. So that's what we got going on. So anyway, I thought I would answer that question because some people have asked about that. And I thought it'd be a good video in light of the doctor strike to talk about something other than the doctor strike that is going on, and found this question. And so here it is. So yeah. If you learned anything or found anything interesting whatsoever, smash that like button, hit subscribe, do the all, and you'll be apprised of what comes up in regards to us being retired in Korea. I also do some fitness stuff. I also do some hobby painting stuff because I'm retired, and I can't just go to the gym all the time. So there might be something that would appeal to somebody out there. So definitely like the video. I'd appreciate that. So until then, put what you think about investing in foreign country real estate. What is your experience about it? I mean, I'm not a professional. This isn't professional advice. Have you done it in the United States? What is your experience? What do you recommend? If there's other people that live in Korea, I mean, what do you see in your neck of the woods? And is it good to invest in real estate in Korea there or not? I don't know. Maybe the answer is it just depends from everybody. But put those in the comment section down below, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace. Yep. Peace.